During England's third-place match at the World Cup, 2 black players scored. But their achievement was overshadowed by a wave of racist abuse online. Black players on the English team face racist abuse whether England wins or loses. Anthony Joshua is celebrated as British when he wins, but suddenly labeled British Nigerian when he loses. Sir Mo Farah becomes British Somali in defeat. And Raheem Sterling is criticized for splurging when he buys his mother a house. Yet when a white player does the same, he's praised as a loving, caring son. All those examples sow a small seed of prejudice, and it continues today. Tonight's question isn't whether that abuse exists, it's what anyone actually gets out of it. A host argues that Englishness has never been about skin color. He traces patriotism back to a warship crew that was never all white in the first place. Then a caller joins in. He describes what it's like growing up mixed race in football. Praised as one of the good ones in one town, told to go back to the zoo in another. Between them, a simple question emerges. What does a person actually win by screaming racial abuse at their own national team?
What do they get out of it? What's the trade-off? The person sitting at home, whether they've been near social media in their lives or not, and they watch Marcus Rashford score a goal, or they watch Jude Bellingham score a goal. If their racism extends to Irish people of Irish heritage, they watch Harry Kane score a goal and they shout at the telly, "You're not English!" Or in the case of Rashford and Bellingham, worse. What's the payoff? What comes out at the bottom of the fruit machine when those 3 racist lemons appear on the reels? Kylo's in Wokingham. Kylo, what would you like to say?
Hi, James.
Hello,
you'll have to bear with me because I have quite bad ADHD, so I can go left, right and centre.
Yeah, okay, mate.
But basically, so growing up in South London, I was brought up in Brixton, then we moved from Brixton to Hounslow. So I played football at a good level, sort of QPR, Brentford, Watford. And then moving to Hounslow, there was sort of a divide between Whitton and Feltham. And this is when I first started experiencing racism in football. So I was seen as one of the good mixed race people who was allowed to play with the white people in Feltham and Whitton. And I never understood it, how he's a good one. He could play with us, but they can't. And then going from
I don't know if I need to say this, but there'll be loads of people from Felton and Whitton who are white, who are utterly repelled. I've got family from Whitton, as it goes, who are utterly repelled by what you're describing, but you're describing what you experienced.
What I experienced. This is purely my experience playing football, and then moving from Hounslow to Wokingham, which is predominantly white. I then experienced playing football being told to go back to Marwell Zoo.
Really?
Whilst playing a game, a fan on the side of the sidelines, I scored a goal, celebrated, and he told me to go back to Marwell Zoo. So that was one of a team full of white players, didn't know what to do, didn't know how to react.
How old were you?
I reckon I was 15, 16 at that point.
Oh.
And I just like, what can you do? There was nothing I could do, so apart from continue playing, put my head down, and I scored a goal. So to me, that was all I cared about. And then from growing up watching England play in pubs, when a black player would miss a penalty, to hearing the N-word the moment they missed a penalty, but it was fine for a white player to miss a penalty. And even the last World Cup in the final, obviously when we lost in penalties, that feeling and anxiousness of knowing what racism is going to be online, what you're going to experience being a mixed race person in a very white area, it has changed dramatically, Wokingham, it has, but it's just horrible. It's horrible.
I don't know, so I'll just ask you, but I would have thought that it was worse today than it was when you were 15.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I mean, obviously I remember what happened to people like Cyril Regis. You're probably too young, and latterly to John Barnes and the bananas being thrown onto the pitch. But the anti-racism initiatives in football were largely successful, and then then something blew the lid off, didn't it, a few years ago?
Social media just it allowed the people who were sort of saying it in their living room to now saying it online, seeing it online. I don't even watch football down the pub because I can't.
We obviously have different ethnicities, but I can't imagine. I genuinely can't imagine, and sometimes I try, Kylo. I hope that doesn't make me sound weird, but you know what I do for a living, and some of the subjects that come around again and again. So Harry Kane misses a penalty last night.
Yeah.
Right? The fact that he's white would never feature in my response to that moment. I don't think in a million years. I'm trying to think like a computer just with an endless screed of text rolling down a screen, and what's going on in my brain, whether it's like yours with a bit of ADHD or not, and it's going off at tangents and you can't fully control it. I mean, unless you've got Tourette's and you genuinely don't know what is going to come out of your mouth, and you will say things that you are utterly and immediately embarrassed and ashamed by, as we saw at the BAFTAs. The fact that a white bloke missed a penalty, the whiteness of the bloke that missed a penalty is never going to appear on that screen, even if it spools and scrolls for 100 years. The fact that he's white is never going to appear.
Never. And that's the mind-blowing thing that comes to me. Like, it
is mind-blowing.
And as a mixed-race person, it really it's hurtful, it's painful, and it's just I struggle to even sometimes watch England in certain games in case a scenario like that happens. And I mean, my wife will tell you, well, she won't tell you because you won't speak to her, but
well, you say that, mate.
That final, honestly, I was sat in my living room, we had guests round, and I said, this is going to be horrendous. And I knew it was going to be, and the social media was it exploded with racism, and you just think to yourself, like, you're forgetting Jude Bellingham just scored the bicycle kick to get us through to this. Everything goes out of their head, and it's just the colour of their skin. And it is my first call to you, because other than the ADHD conversation, which I tried getting through to you, this is something which really, really plays on my mind, because I try to bring my kids up who are more 3/4 white, a quarter black. I try to get them to understand that there is no colour. Everyone's the same, and if you don't see the person's colour, they're just a human. And
or an Englishman.
That's exactly it. An Englishman. We are all English, and that's what blows my mind. And they're up the elitist level, playing football for our country, putting their body on the line to make us win something. I mean, what has their colour got to do with?
Well, also it's the ultimate meritocracy as well, which racists have started using the word meritocracy to attempt to undo attempts to battle racism. Sport. I mentioned the other day, you can't be a Formula One driver unless you're brilliant. I got bombarded with mention of some poor Canadian bloke who apparently was a rubbish Formula One driver. But generally speaking, sport is the great leveler, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You come through the ranks and you triumph like these lads. What do you think they get out of it? So, I mean, I'm not making excuses, but you know what it's like at school, and you want to hurt someone, and you'll pick on something that makes them different. So it might be the fact they're a bit overweight, or they wear spectacles, or they've got ginger hair, or they're black. And on a football pitch with fellow players, maybe with fans, there can be a little bit of that. But these guys are attacking their own side, so it's a completely different impulse. What do you think they get out of?
I think, like, when I was in the pub, and I remember hearing the N-word being said, when I can't remember who's missed the penalty, it might have been Sterling or someone like that.
Or Saka, I think, missed one as well, didn't he?
And I looked around and I looked at the person. This is a person who was my friend, by the way.
Right.
Someone I knew, grew up with, went to school with. And I think it's just such an easy target to make themselves feel like it's their fault. Like, it's their fault, but because they're black, I'm going to shout this out. It's like a hurtful thing without even realising what he said. And he looked at me and he said sorry.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm your mixed race mate, and you've just said that. Like, and I walked out the pub, and I still, to this moment, I cannot understand what made him think it was okay to set at that point. But
I'm not sure we will. I'm sticking with this until at least 11 o'clock, but I'm not sure it is something that can be articulated, even by the people that did it. If you said to him, what did you get out of that then?
That's what I don't get. I cannot understand it, and I've experienced it throughout my life. So one of my rules are, as having white friends, is I don't want black jokes. Don't try and use me as a joke, or like silly little sly comments people make.
I don't mean you. I don't mean you, mate.
Yeah. Here's my black friend. You're all right. Yeah, you're a good one. That's it. I'm not that person. So please don't be like that with me, and please don't make me a joke. Just like you wouldn't with a gay person or anything like that. But for some reason, when it comes to sport, colour is easily defined, and it's just horrible. It's
just
horrible.
And I wonder, listen, I'm going to stick with it. I don't think I'll get a better call than you, but we're no closer really to knowing what they get out. Do you think your mate who used the N-word, and forgive me if this is a crass question, because it might be a question to which the answer is obviously yes. Is he racist?
Well, this is what this is what's so difficult. It's like you don't do it in every you don't do it in any other scenario. You're not saying it in any other scenario. But the moment someone misses a penalty, colour comes into play. And I think, James, I listen to you all the time, and since Reform and since Restore.
Careful, okay, whoa. That's all right. I had to lose a little bit of that because there is a by-election underway, and we're not talking about politics. Don't apologise. It's my job to keep an eye on that, not yours. But the national conversation, we can say, has changed in recent years.
Has changed in recent years, and it is. I went through a stage of growing up at school, not experiencing any form of different identity to other people.
Because it had been outlawed effectively because of DEI initiatives and because of anti-racist programs.
And it was. It got to the point now where recently, where I would go to Quotes. I own a business. I'll go to Quotes, and I get worried being a different colour compared to other people, and what effect that could have on me winning work.
Yeah,
that's how it's got to now.
Yes, we're going backwards. Obviously we're going backwards. You can see that in the expressions of civil disobedience or violence on the streets of our towns and cities, which is actively fomented and encouraged by people whose names we all know. But of course, the low-level stuff, that's just the high-level stuff. That's just the pogroms and the riots. The low-level stuff is going to be the language that's used in pubs in front of mixed-race, Quotes, friends. And of course, the underlying fear that someone is going to be looking at you and changing their opinion of you based on the colour of your skin, which would involve me watching Harry Kane missing a penalty. How many black people do we think watched Harry Kane miss a penalty and decided immediately to focus on his whiteness? Listen, maybe there are a few, I don't know, but how many black people watched Harry Kane miss a penalty last night? Thank God it got excised from the record books, although I don't know what the hell he thought he was playing at with that little stutter. They watched Harry Kane miss a penalty and they immediately attacked him for being white. Because remember, anti-white racism in this country is off the flipping charts. So presumably, under the analysis of our society from the people who claim that anti-white racism is off the charts, Harry Kane is going to would have needed a police guard if that penalty hadn't been retaken, because everyone's going to be attacking him for being white, including, police forces that are 96% white, because they're anti-white racist as well, according to some people. Can you get past that observation there? How many people of colour, of any colour, responded to Harry Kane's potential penalty miss by attacking him for being white?
What connects these clips isn't outrage. It's a question, asked over and over, that never gets answered. Both speakers keep circling back to the same challenge. What does someone actually gain from racially abusing their own country's players? Neither can find a satisfying answer. The host runs through possibilities: tribal instinct, learned prejudice, the anonymity of social media, and each one falls short of explaining the scale of what's described. The clearest moment comes from the caller. He recalls a childhood friend who used a racial slur after a missed penalty. Asked directly whether that friend is racist, the caller hesitates. He doesn't do it in any other situation, only this one. That hesitation is the heart of the conversation. It suggests something more troubling than simple bigotry, a kind of switch that flips only in certain moments, for certain triggers, then flips back off. The wider point sits underneath all of it. Loyalty to a football team, like loyalty to a country, is supposed to be unconditional. What these clips describe is loyalty with an asterisk. Present until a mistake is made, present until skin color becomes visible. So the question isn't really about racists shouting online. It's about what the rest of us are willing to call out when we hear it in the room.